Welcome to the DFS Express Podcast, your stop for daily fantasy sports talk, including slate breakdowns and industry commentary. Let's go to the host of our show, the Daily Fantasy Sniper.
What's up, everybody? Back with you for the NFL Week 16 scouting report. Took a couple weeks off from doing the podcast, just holiday, and then I got really sick. My kid was sick. I went on vacation. So, those are the excuses for those who care, but I'm glad you are listening to this episode. Back in the normal swing of things, NFL, soccer, MMA on tap. Can't wait for NASCAR to get started when the PGA Majors rolls around. I am going to do some shows and majors, have some guests on. So good stuff there. Please subscribe to the podcast, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at sniper_DFS. It's going to be a first look podcast. If you never listened to my NFL breakdowns, just obviously recording this Tuesday night. Just first look overview to the Sunday main slate. You want more in-depth analysis, cheat sheets, all that stuff with the great coaches over at DFS Army, where I am a coach. My primary sports are MMA and soccer. Digging into NFL here, though, but become a member over there. Use the code SNIPER for 20% off your membership each and every month. That's enough for the intro. Let's just start talking about Sunday's games. Remember, there is a Saturday 3-game slate. I'm just going to be talking about the Sunday here for the first look. First game up, the New York Giants taking on the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are a 2.5-point favorite in this game. Total is 42. Daniel Jones projected to be back. We'll see how that goes. Saquon Barkley had a big week last week. DraftKings price back up a little closer to where it should be, 8.3 thousand. That's not going to totally scare me away here. I still think he's underpriced if he is, healthy and they're going to start running the offense through him as they should. You can definitely get at this Redskins defense. I do like Saquon Barkley. In the passing game, really the Giants have 3 viable receivers, and they, I don't love attacking the Redskins through the air, so I'm not really in love with attacking Redskins, with playing the Giants receivers. Evan Ingram is out, but still, Brett Ellison, Caden Smith, not anything I'm really looking at. On the Redskins side of the ball, look, they're just the only guy I ever want to play here is Terry McLaurin. He is the mid-6s on both sides. A little bit of interest there, not a ton. You got Dwayne Haskins throwing him the ball. I know they hooked up for a long pass last week. If you're going to play anybody here, it's probably Kelvin Harmon, who's a punt on DraftKings. Don't love it, but I do think he's viable if we're looking for salary relief this week. No interest really in either of the running backs for me, Peterson or Thompson. Next game up, Carolina at Indianapolis. Carolina is a 6.5-point underdog here. Indy's the favorite. I have to see. I don't know if it's been officially announced. I probably should have looked that up before we started, but Will Grier could get the start for Carolina. I'm going to assume he does. If he hasn't, that hasn't been officially announced by the time you're listening to this. 4.3K on DraftKings in Indianapolis. Obviously just got torched by New Orleans coming off of a short week. Totally viable punt play. Absolutely totally viable. If you want to get a bunch of pay-up options, I never hate paying down at quarterback, especially, Indianapolis, they can be got at. You can play DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel. We don't know who Grier's favorite target is going to be in terms of the receivers, whereas Christian McCaffrey is kind of matchup proof. Like, go ahead and play him in cash games, lock in the points, 10.1K. Indianapolis has a good run-stopping defense. Don't care here with how many passes McCaffrey catches. A little bit of risk with the new quarterback, but not going to scare me off of McCaffrey. Indianapolis, I'm thinking most people are probably going to be off them. Still not a great spot here. They are back at home. Carolina, you really, teams have been running on them, and if I wanted to attack a receiver, T.Y. Hilton's kind of half injury is, 100% T.Y. Hilton. I'd play him at 6.4K here. Zach Pascal, on the other hand, has been priced up because he's acting as the number one receiver. Do I really trust him? Not particularly. And you got guys like Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines who aren't great pass catching backs. I don't hate Marlon Mack as the Panthers are atrocious against the run. He's a $6,000 running back. That's probably where I would go if you want to attack any Colts here. Last guy in the roster, I'm fine with that construction. And Brissett will be a pass for me. Jacksonville at Atlanta. Atlanta 7.5 point favorites in this one. Total in this game, by the way, 46.5. We'll start with Atlanta. Fire up your options here. Jacksonville can be got at. They're playing indoors at Atlanta. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Russell Gage. Let me check out the discount on him now that Calvin Ridley's on IR. Yeah, Russell Gage immediately popping as a value play, especially on DraftKings at 4.4K. Probably be firing him up. Austin Hooper, assuming he's back and healthy, 4.4K. Yeah, there's a couple underpriced pieces here on this Atlanta team. So just going back to the last game, it means you might not need Greer. You could decide to pay down in some of these other spots. Devonta Freeman has looked a little better, but again, he's more running the ball. I don't love Freeman. I probably would rather play Marlon Mack that we just talked about around the same price range. But you can attack the Jaguars through the air, playing Falcons if you want to go that route for sure. Gardner Minshew, I think he's in play again, like 5.5K just for what he does. He scrambles a little bit. He's got a favorite target in D.D. Westbrook. He'll be getting Chark back, which I think actually helps Westbrook. I think defenses will focus on Chark, and that lets Westbrook get open. Westbrook's starting, his salary's up a little bit, so it's not as easy of a play as it was. Neither one great matchup here. I probably would favor Westbrook. You can play Minshew, but it'd be a naked cash play, and I really don't like it as much as I did last week. I actually rolled him out in cash last week, and he saved me in the fourth quarter, but not so much this week. But I never scoff at a quarterback at 5.5K, especially against the Falcons, who can be scored on by opposing quarterbacks. Cincinnati at Miami. Miami is the 1 point favorite in this game. Almost flipped it. 47 points, a pretty healthy total here between two #not good teams. How scary is it targeting the Bengals? Scary, but Tyler Boyd, decent price. I don't love Mixon or Bernard on DraftKings because they're not pass catching backs. If you want to go, and Mixon's priced up on FanDuel, so don't love it here. I'd prefer to just get some of the pass catchers and see if you can Tyler Boyd, John Ross as value option for Cincinnati against this Miami defense that is just not good. You can, Andy Dalton has not looked good this year, but he's 5.2K in a good matchup. No one's going to play him if you want to get cute in tournaments, get silly for the millie, as they say. I think the Bengals aren't a bad option, and that's a little bit worrisome that I just said that. On the other side of the ball, Fitzpatrick has been playing really well as a Jet fan. I'm not super surprised. The problem is he only has Devontae Parker to throw to. I know the Bengals are bad. He's got Mike Gesicki as well. The Bengals are actually decent against opposing tight ends, but Gesicki is 3.6K. I guess you could go there. Fitzpatrick, we'll look at his price right now. Fitzpatrick, 6K on DraftKings, 7.4 on FanDuel. It's a little bit higher than I want for Fitzpatrick, even against the Bengals. So the preferred side of this game is actually Cincinnati on the road. I'm pretty over the Patrick Laird thing. I think he's getting tons of carries, just getting nowhere. So Parker's really the only option here for me. More interest in the Bengals, which I've said 3 times, and it didn't get any more comfortable to say any of those times. Not once. Moving on, Baltimore at Cleveland. How big of a favorite is Baltimore? 10.5 points. Total is 48. The issue here is Lamar Jackson kind of banged up. How long is he going to be in games? Priced up now 8K on DraftKings. He should destroy Cleveland here. I don't like paying that much for a quarterback It just doesn't make me feel good in the constructions. He has a floor like we haven't seen from quarterback before, so I can't crush you for it. And then pair him up with any of the receivers you want. Probably the best is Mark Andrews at tight end if you want to pay up there. I actually have more interest in, well, Mark Ingram's actually a little priced up. This game's just funny because you get the sense it's going to be a blowout, and who's going to score the points before they get pulled off the field is probably Lamar Jackson. I'll mix in some Mark Ingram, but I do think they're going to be popular. And jumping off the page now, if you pay down a couple spots, you want to pay up for Lamar Jackson because we've gone through some pay down options already. Like I said, I'm fine with that. I'm just not sure that's how I'm going to go on Tuesday. But obviously, total like this, favorite like this, plenty of places you can go for Baltimore, Marquise Brown as well. Cleveland, on the other hand, yeah, pretty much pass. I'll play some Ravens defense here. You know, Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry have not looked good this year. Baker Mayfield, same. They're just not putting up numbers, and this Baltimore defense has been really good. So I will probably pass here. Look at the Ravens defense. Yeah, not much interest for me for Cleveland. New Orleans at Tennessee. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite, 51 total, so really big total here as you would expect in a New Orleans game. Drew Brees, setting all kinds of records on Monday Night Football, 6.9K. I prefer Michael Thomas if I can get way up there. I know he's 9.3 on DraftKings and 9 on FanDuel, but the dude, especially in DK, just gets 12, 14 targets a game. PPR, just he's got a floor. And the Titans defense isn't as scary as it has been. You could score on them. That's where I expect it to come from. Kamara, 7.5K. I know just torched a lot of people in their season-long fantasy, but viable option here. And I kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, my knee-jerk reaction is most people are going to play Brees and Thomas. Interesting little pivot to Kamara, who's not going to be unowned, but probably less owned than those two. So I do like Kamara as well. Yeah, and you have to look at all the Saints pass catchers as well, and in GPPs for sure. Tennessee, on the other hand, this game is going to be a shootout. You want to game stack it. AJ Brown, Corey Davis are where you would go. AJ Brown priced up after his huge game. Don't love it, so I probably would like the cheap punt in Corey Davis. I like to pay down at receivers, how I always approach it. Tannehill has also been playing well, 6.6K. Again, that's a little bit high for me. And the Saints have a good run defense. So, look, Derrick Henry he's been torching me because I haven't played a ton of him, and he's having just a monster year. Did have a down game last game out against Houston, but because he's just not a pass catching back, I like those cheap points. So he's burned me plenty, but again, on paper, this is not a great matchup for him as opposing offenses typically go after New Orleans through the air, especially in the game script we're expecting where Tennessee is behind and chasing points. Pittsburgh at the Jets. God, my Jets are terrible. I haven't even looked at the line of this game. How depressing is this going to be? The Pittsburgh with a third-string quarterback is... Oh, can't even find it right now. Is the line up on this game? If you're watching on YouTube, you can see me scrambling. It is up. Pittsburgh is a 3-point favorite here. Gross. Total in this one, 38. So we have a low total. Look, I can't play Delvin Hodges. I'd rather play Greer for even cheaper. Juju Smith-Schuster's got on the knee injury. It's just, I don't know anymore. Like, this team, just Pittsburgh, is just not full of fantasy goodness. I'm going to go anywhere. It's probably, I wanted to say James Washington, but his price isn't even great. I might run out some Jets defense at home here, even as underdogs, but it's a low total game, decently priced. So I think my preferred play here is actually to go against Pittsburgh. Other side of the ball, I mean, it's not much more attractive. You could make a case for the Pittsburgh defense too. They're just going to be a little bit more expensive. Le'Veon Bell, Adam Gase is a terrible coach. I said it before he was even snapped a game. He took a guy who failed in Miami and brought him to New York. And all right, I'm going to let this go before I get angry. I will say Sam Darnold has he's had some good games this year. I'm going to go anywhere in this game on the Jet side of the ball. It's probably Robbie Anderson in the mid-range. Afternoon set of games, Oakland at LA. We have injury news to watch in this one. Before that, I should get to the line. Chargers 6.5 point favorites, 45.5 totals. Injury news: Josh Jacobs. Read an article. He had a hard time taking off the shoulder pads, and is he going to be ready to go? That's going to be big to watch here, because if he isn't in, look, I want to attack the Chargers in the ground typically. Jalen Richard would probably be the guy. DeAndre Washington, those guys would split. But I would take one of those cheap punts for sure as a pay down option in this game. That's probably the only place I would go, because I don't trust Derek Carr, Tyrell Williams. Zay Jones has not had a good year. So really, I'm just watching the running back situation from Oakland. Other side, I'm all about the Chargers here. Pass catching back, so I always favor Austin Eckler on DraftKings. And he gets some goal line work too. So it's not like Melvin Gordon is sniping all the touchdowns for FanDuel. So Austin Eckler, probably my favorite play. Well, one of my favorite plays in this game. I really do like Keenan Allen in this matchup. Actually, priced at 6.3K. That is way, way too cheap for this matchup, unless there's injury news I am forgetting about. I'm playing Keenan Allen this week. That's not right. Also, Hunter Henry, tight end position, 4.7K. Don't hate that price for him, but Keenan Allen is what jumps off the page of me in this game. Detroit at Denver. Speaking of injury news, right now Denver's a 7-point favorite, 38.5 point total. Gotta see what happens with, I believe I saw Kerryon Johnson is on IR. The problem is I don't want to attack this Denver defense even with, not Kerryon Johnson is. Bo Scarborough, I think, was marked as questionable when I looked. So I need to look at the injury report for Detroit. We got David Blau, who blows. Look, third string quarterback, Denver defense. You can afford him. I got no problem paying for him. Marvin Jones Jr. also is going to be out. So, the problem is Danny Amendola, big game last week, was an easy punt, but now he's priced up a little bit. Not a great matchup, so don't like anybody from Detroit here. Denver, look, I'm sick and tired trying to guess the Denver running back situation. I want to play one of them, but Phillip Lindsay just continually disappoints me. I don't think I can go there. Drew Lock, mid fives, not quite cheap enough for me to want to get there, but Detroit is just a sieve. So that being said, probably Cortland Sutton's the play here at 6.2K. Noah Fant at tight end. Don't hate that if he's priced down 3.7K. Don't hate Noah Fant. The problem with playing Sutton is Keenan Allen's the same price, and just give me Keenan Allen. But there are some options here from Denver. Moving on, Dallas at Philadelphia. Dallas is currently a 3-point favorite, 46.5 point total. I'm going to start in Philly with this one because injury news all over the place. Just receivers marked as questionable, and the more receivers that are out, the more I want to play Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. All about Zach Ertz here, 6.4K. Even though Dallas has got a good defense, look, the offense for Philadelphia is going to run through Zach Ertz. This game is, pivotal for that really shitty NFC East race, but it is what it is. The other thing to watch is I think I saw Miles Sanders had a designation next to him, or Jordan Howard. There's a running back issue, and I apologize. I should have written it down. I did not. If one of them's out, regardless, I should take that back. Regardless, I just want to target the tight ends in this game, and I have no problem in lineups. You could play both Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. I think that's a really interesting GPP strategy to stack up Wentz, Ertz, and Goddard here. Dallas, you can game stack this game. It's not does not have a terrible total, not one of the higher ones on the slate, but it's for that reason people could be off of it and just Dallas scores through their wide receivers, and Philadelphia gives up points from two wide receivers. So Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, checking prices here. Gallup's a little cheaper. Randall Cobb is the cheapest. If you want to go that route, I just coming off of a not great game, maybe Randall Cobb. Amari Cooper probably the safest of those. Again, I just have such a hard time because I like Keenan Allen so much this week. But through the air, I think this is one of the sneakier games to stack. The issue is it's one of those divisional games that could be played low scoring, and only 46.5 point total. Just on paper, it matches up as if points should be scored. So Eagles, tight ends, Dallas, the wide receivers, Amari Cooper would be my favorite play. Not a ton of interest in Zeke this week. I think there are better spots to pay up for. Most notably in his price range would be Saquon Barkley. Okay, last game we're going to talk about, Arizona at Seattle. Seattle is, how big of a favorite are the Seahawks? 9.5 points, 50 total. Expect to see plenty of points here. Kerryon Drake sniping all the touchdowns from the popular and chalky Kyler Murray last week had to have some people going insane. Not as much interest here because both of them are priced up a little bit. The receivers are probably where I would look for Arizona. Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald. Probably Christian Kirk is my preferred play, but wow, Larry Fitzgerald, 4.2K on DraftKings now. That's not a bad pay down option at all here, especially with the game script they could be chasing. So now that I look at it, Fitzgerald, but most of your interest has to be on the Seattle side of the ball. Russell Wilson, 7,000, but I think he's got a really solid floor here. Arizona, they are the worst team in the league at defending quarterbacks in terms of fantasy points. Jacob Hollister, a tight end, I think is 4.2K. If I didn't have so much love for Ertz and Goddard, would be in the mix. So definitely an interesting pivot off there. Everybody, Chris Carson, I want to see what his price did after last week when he had the big game. Yeah, Chris Carson, 8.5K on DraftKings, 8.2 on FanDuel. That's too much here in this matchup. That's just overpriced to me. I'd rather take my chances in the passing game. You could mix in Lockett or Metcalf. But if my favorite play in this game would be Russell Wilson. And that's what I got for the NFL Week 16 scouting report. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave comments in the videos. If you could also rate the podcast on iTunes, leave a review. Would really appreciate that. Again, like, comment, subscribe. I know I can't say enough, but I can also thank you guys enough who have done it. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Good luck in your contests. See you next time.